All right, students, in this video, I'm going to go over triangle midsegments and the theorem behind it. So here we have the midpoint of the sides of a triangle. Identify that midpoint, or if it's given, it's telling you that it's cutting the triangle in half by connecting these two. So that's why it's called a midsegment. It's a segment in the middle of the triangle because of the midpoint. So these two sides are equal, and these two sides are equal. Another neat thing about it is that if you have the mid segment, then you have a line that's parallel to the third side. So these two are parallel to each other. And also this mid segment is half as long as the opposite, the parallel side. So this part is in here twice. So that's the application that you have to put on that. So you can see it as identifying first your parallel side lengths or segments. AC is parallel to DE, and then also understanding that the mid segment DE is it's half of AC. So this part is half of whatever this part is. Or you could see it as AC is twice as big as DE. So those two things is what you need to apply in this topic. So number one, identify all pairs of parallel segments. So this is just you looking at a mid segment and saying, oh, this is parallel to that. So I'm just going to say the XW is parallel to RX. And then also seeing this other side and saying, oh, that's parallel to that. So WY is parallel to QR. And then the other one will be this side being parallel to that. So then XY is parallel to QX. So that's just recognizing your parallel lines. Number two practices that, so try that on your own. Number three goes over now the application of the relationship. So PR is the whole thing, and that's 46. And then we have PQ, which is this part, and that's 40. And then LN, which is this part, and that's 17. Okay, so parallel to 40 is this part. And here it's asking me for LM, so that's not going to help us. MN is that part. So if this is 40, half of that, half of 40 will be 20. So that's what this mid segment is. Let's look at the LM. LM is parallel to PR. So LM is half of 46. So that's 23. And then the other one, QR is this part, so that will be purple, and that means that this is the longer part. So we're going to do 2 times 17, because this is twice as long as this little part, so 34. All right, and then it's asking for MR. Well, MR is this midpoint to that part, so that means these two are two equal parts, and if this is 34, then this little part is only 17. Okay, so try number 4 to apply that practice. Number 5 is asking you to find the value of x. So this is you remembering that this mid segment is in here twice. So we can say that 17x minus 18 is equal to this twice. So 2 times 7x equals 17x minus 18. And then you just solve for x. You distribute, so that's 14x. And then you move the x to the other side by adding or subtracting. So that's negative 3x equals negative 18. Divide by negative 3 to isolate it, and that gives you 6. So that's how you will solve for x. So try number 6 to help you with that. Number 7 in the back is now using what we just did on number 6, but now it's finding the side length of DE. So not only are you identifying the relationship between these two, but you're also applying the x value in there. So this is in here twice. So this expression is this one twice. So we're going to do 2 times 4x plus 1. equals 11x minus 25. So 2 times 4 is 8x, 2 times 1 is 2, and then we move the x to the other side by adding or subtracting, and move the number to the other side by adding or subtracting. These cancel, and you have negative 3x equals negative 27 divided by negative 3 gives you 9. So that's just the x value. It's now asking you to find the distance, which is 4x plus 1. So we're going to do 4 times 9 plus 1. That's going to be 36 plus 1, which is 37. So 37 will be. All right, so try number 8 to practice that. Number 9 is putting it all together because they're asking you for the perimeter. So in this one is where you find what is this side length, what is this side length, and then what is this side length. So for this one, you look at this part, and 42 is the midsegment. That means you have 42 and 42, which means the whole thing is 84. And then for this one, we have 49 twice in here. So 49 and 49, and that's going to be 98. Okay, and then the other part, we have the mid-segment right here with this one. So this is like number 6 and number 7, where we had to understand this expression of the whole thing is made out of 2 of these. So 2 times 6x minus 1 equals 13x minus 10. Solve for x. And let's see what we get. So 12 minus 13x is negative 1x. Negative 10 plus 2 is negative 8. Divided by negative 1, x equals 8. So if x equals 8, we can put an 8 in there. So we're going to have 13 times 8 minus 10. And that's going to be 104 minus 10, and that's going to be 94. So this part is 94. Okay, so now the perimeter would be the whole thing. So we're going to do a triangle that has 84, 94, and 98. So it's adding all those three, and that will give you a total of 276. All right, let's move on to number 10. Now number 10 and 12 and 13 and 14, it's about using what you know to find measures of angles. So number 1, our measure of angle 1 is up here. And if we think about all 3 angles, they all add up to 180. But we don't know 2 angles to find the other one. Let's just keep looking for other relationships. Angle 2, this angle, it's right next to 127. So that means this creates a linear pair. And because it's a linear pair, it adds up to 180. So 127 plus an angle, so we'll just put measure angle 2 equals 180. We subtract 127 from 180, and that will give us the measure of angle 2 equals 53. So 53 degrees is this little part right here. And then we notice that the whole relationship of midsegment and third side is that these are parallel. So if these keep going, if these keep going, it creates a parallel line cut by a transversal. And you're going to notice that these 2 angles are corresponding. That's these 2 angles right here. 1 and 2 are corresponding. So corresponding sides, or corresponding angles, are congruent. That means that angle 1 has to be 53 degrees as well. Angle 3 is now down here. We can look across and say, okay, this is 53 and this is 59. We can calculate angle 3. So 59 plus 53 plus measure of angle 3 equals 180. So we add these two and we subtract them from 180. And that's going to give us, let's see, 3. Okay, so that will give us 68. So 53 and 59, add those and then subtract them from 180 and it'll give you 68. All right, measure of angle 4. Now that you have angle 2 and 3, you can calculate angle 4. Or you can also look at this angle of 59 being corresponding to angle 4. That's just lighting them down. That is just saying two lines cut by a transversal. So this one and that one are corresponding. So that's what's happening here. So angle 4 is 59 degrees. And then angle 5 can be calculated because this is a linear pair. So 180 minus 59. And that's going to give you 121. Okay, so it's just applying your angle relationships with the mid-segment rule. For number 12, we have two angles that are pointed out right here. And based on the previous practice, these are corresponding angles. If these were parallel lines cut by a transversal, these are corresponding. So that means that they're equal to each other. So it's asking you to find the value of x. You just write an equation with that relationship and solve for x. I'll just do it super fast. We're running out of time here. And the answer will be 5. Number 13 is similar, however, these are not equal to each other because when you write your parallel lines cut by a transversal, these are both on the inside of the parallel line and they're right next to each other. So these are called interior, consecutive interior. And if they are not congruent, then they have to equal 180. Those are your options. You either have congruent angles, corresponding, alternate interior, all that, or they add to equal 180. So that's what you have going on here. So make sure you write an equation for that and solve for x. Number 14, it's asking you for angle CBF. CBF is this corner right here. And similar to what we just did earlier, you compare this angle with that angle, and those are corresponding angles. So we solve for x by equaling the expressions to each other. These cancel, and 9 minus 15, that is 6x, negative 6x, that's negative 54. We divide by negative 6, you get positive 9. So then now we plug in that 9 in here because we're trying to find this angle. So 9 times 9 plus 2, 81 plus 2, which equals 83. So 83 degrees is the answer. All right, I hope this video helps you understand this.